Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly Shlog here at Highland Cycles. My name is Morgan. There's Angry Zach way over there, and Leandra is up front. We are rock and rolling. We're here for another week, ready to rock and roll. Despite what some of you guys think, I do actually work on customers' bikes still, although there's my sweet 300 over there. I'll be doing work to that very soon. Putting a new RK Tech head on it, doing some testing for RK. Anyway, welcome to our little shop vlog here. If you're new, if you found us because of the 300XC videos, give us a shot here. Stick with us for our weekly Shlog because we show you all kinds of cool dirt bike stuff, tech tips, product reviews, tool reviews, funny stuff, whatever. Anyway, we have some wrestling dogs sometimes. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. If that sounds like a good time, stick with us. Here we go.
Yeah! Somebody's gonna get high and it's gonna be me.
All right, guys, first on the lift is this, I believe, 2018 300XC-W, carbureted, kind of a unicorn motorcycle right here. Not a lot of these floating around anymore, other than mine over there. This gentleman just bought this. He's been riding a 450 for a long time, and we kind of had a sit down about that. And I was like, man, you should really try a 300 two-stroke. He's a big man. He's an adult, probably my age or older. And he's 6'6" though. He's a full-sized human. And he's like, God, I figure I just always need, a 450. I'm like, nah, you don't. So he found this, bought it, and now we are going to do some work to it. We're starting with, let's see, we're going to fix the kickstand. He's getting rubbing here on that, and I took a look, and it might be hard for you guys to see, but there's a crack there, crack on the other side. It's obviously probably was sitting on the kickstand, and it probably like sunk in and fell over and bent that kickstand back in. So we got a new kickstand for him. We're going to put a System Tech Racing front rotor guard on it. One of my favorite front rotor guards of all time. Boom, right there. Mr. John Bruckbauer over in Pagosa Springs. So we're going to be putting that on here, doing a full service. And let's see, checking on tires. He might be doing tires. We'll have to see. Oh, new O-rings on the pipe, and I think that's it. So let's see. Yeah, like I said, full service. So we'll be going through, tightening spokes, checking wheel bearings, checking all the nuts and bolts, everything, getting deep into this thing. So anyway, stick with us. Here we go. Customer said that the air filter is good, but I always check. Boom, and it does look good. Looks perfect. Looks brand new. So that's good. But in checking that, I noticed there is a bolt missing right there. So let's get that thing taken care of. That is one of these kind of funky shoulder jobbers. That's the kind of stuff we do in a full service, guys, is like find little things like that. Find loose fasteners around, that's why you pay extra money. We charge about an hour and a half. It's $150 labor, but it's because we're going to be looking for stuff like that and chain tension and sprocket bolts and all that good stuff. And I'm going to check your air filter even if you tell me it's okay. Missing another bolt on this side, so we'll be taking care of that too. Forgot another thing that he wanted me to do is fix this, spraying a lot of exhaust around the cylinder here. I'm sure the O-rings are just worn out, so we're going to take that thing off. Also, while we have it off, we'll go ahead and take a look up inside the cylinder, because why not? Make sure all that looks good. Now you can see, guys, it's just blowing excessive exhaust. It's also not fitting super tight in the cylinder. It's bent just a little bit. It's not bent terribly, but it is bent just a little bit, so it's not fitting quite perfectly in there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get some new O-rings, because these are definitely all burnt and flat. But then we'll also probably get a little bit of clear RTV, and as we slide it in there, that'll help seal it up too. Or also clean this up. Oil looks pretty good. This is in on top of my old oil, but you can see, yeah, you can see through it. It's not bad. Another thing you want to check on, definitely on KTMs, on everything, is the shifter bolt. They like to come loose. That one's nice and tight. Must have some Loctite on it, which is good. A lot of what we're doing is because he just bought this thing and doesn't really know anything about it. And he wants us to kind of go through, get a good baseline so he knows everything about it, and then we can go forward. Missing a bolt right here. Talk about driving me into disappointment valley. I was expecting you to regale me with stories of craziness and running through the neighborhood. Those O-ring guys are pretty cooked, so happy about getting those off. And we got some fresh new Viton ones. After I clean this, I'm going to clean the cylinder too really well so that the RTV I put on there will stick really good. All right, guys, this is the power valve cover that always leaks. Super stoked to announce that they don't on the new bike, because they don't have a connection to the transmission like on here. But one way to help it leak a lot less, they still kind of leak no matter what, is get this cleaned really, really, really well. We get our 1184 3 bond, which is the same as Yamaha bond, Honda bond, all the bonds. And we take a bead of it and we go down in that groove. Now, I've said this every time I've used this stuff on this channel, but I just might as well, because in case you guys are new, I like to let this set up and tack up a little bit before I install it, because it A, helps keep it from squishing everywhere, and then B, helps it be stickier on the other side. So I'm gonna go clean that up, install it, and then we'll get on to the next job on this thing. All right, guys, just poured oil back in it. A lot of people want to know what I like to run in the gearbox. I run Bellray Gear Saver. I've told the story on here about why I'll never switch. I like it unless someone can somehow prove to me there's something better. Stuff is amazing. Never had any problems. If you've watched that other, story time about how it saved me a transmission. Anyway, so yeah. That's in there. Now we're going to put the skid plate back on. We got the pipe back on, sealed up really well. The clear RTV and the new O-rings made that thing fit really nice and tight. And then I think also with the new Yamaha bond on the cover for the power valve, we should have a much cleaner motorcycle, which is going to make this guy super happy. Now, next is this kickstand. I'm going to pull this thing off. It's just, like I said, it's broken, so it's tilted in a little bit, and it's causing it to wear on the swing arm. We don't want that. Also, it's annoying, it makes noise, whatever, so Gonna take this off and I'll show you the one we're gonna use to put on there. All right. So we can see right there the crack. It just happens on these things, especially over time. If they fall over, that usually is what happens. Going to be replacing it though with, instead of a KTM one from Extreme Motor Parts in Romania. These guys do an amazing job with these parts. It's cool because I think they're getting them from the same place that KTM is getting them, but without the KTM name on the box, they're way less money. So pretty cool. They come with the little bushing if you want it to make it so it's an automatic spring. He doesn't want that, but pretty nice that it comes with it just in case. A nice stainless steel bolt. Part, very, very nice part. This is already Loctited in, which is nice. I've checked them. So that makes that a much stronger part than the newer KTMs that keep flying off and hitting people in the face. So now we'll just he just loves. Honestly, guys, I find it's easier to hook both ends up and then pull that thing down because it is brutally hard to try to hook those things up there or onto there. Just makes it way easier. You got a big, nice lever, push it down on there. Now we're gonna Loctite the heck out of this thing with blue. Everything's nice and tight, not hitting the frame anymore, not hitting the swing arm anymore. All good to go. Chuck this one in the trash. All right, guys. Just got done installing tires and mousses. This gentleman was told that his bike had mousses in it. It did not, so not sure what that's all about. But anyway, it needed tires anyway, so we got him some good tires. Got an M59 up front and a Bridgestone X30 in the back. Now I'm going to show you how simple it is to install the System Tech Racing front disc guard that I, like I said, really, really like. So you saw I just took this spacer out, dropped this in like that. It's got an inner spacer to make up for whatever axle diameter. The front, this has the smaller, so we put that spacer in. Now we're just gonna mount it up, and I'll show you guys here in a second what it looks like. But basically we just slide this in. You gotta kind of move this and slide it in, and then I'll show you how you set this up here in just a second. All right, guys, so just like installing any normal wheel, I'm gonna put it in. This now is movable. You want it to stand off of that lower caliper mount about like that, you know, inch-ish, 3/4 of an inch, something like that. So, maybe that's a 1/2 inch. Anyway, about like that, just some standoff. Then you're gonna come in here, tighten that down. Now it's spinning over on the other side, which is what we want for wheel install. We're gonna go ahead and make sure we get it centered. Okay, again, it was moving so easily I didn't worry about it. Guys, now we know everything is moving like it's supposed to. We're gonna tighten down these pinch bolts over here. Then we're going to come back to this, and we're going to tighten this a little bit more, which is going to pinch this and keep it from wanting to rotate just under normal, motion. There we go. So now it's nice and strong, but if it hits, it does have a little bit of give. Now we come back to this other side. We're going to loosen it, make sure we get everything centered. And I can actually move it with my hand. I don't know if you guys can't over there, but here, let me show you. if you can go like, let's see, that, and it goes back, you know you're good. So now we'll just go ahead and tighten everything down. Now you have a sweet front disc guard that is not aluminum. It won't hang up on rocks and make you want to go over the bars. It's not quite as strong side impact, but it's really freaking crazy strong, and I like them a lot. Now I am testing between one of those and the Bulletproof Designs on my bike. So we're gonna test and test and test. I like them both very much for different reasons. Make sure you stick around, subscribe to the channel, and see those full tests and reviews as we get to them. All right, guys, Mr. Sheets has something awesome over here to show you. This is a KX450 that came in. Why did it originally come in? Yeah, so it was overheating, quote unquote. It actually wasn't overheating. Turns out the the head gasket was leaking, and you'd fire the thing up. If you revved it, man, coolant came flying out of here. But just want to show you real quick what the oil looks like in the top of it. You can see, guys, see that milkiness? That's from the water being in the motor. So this thing probably, it probably got hot at some point and maybe did overheat, but then that overheating probably just got ignored and got really, really hot, and it popped that head gasket. So stay tuned. We're gonna be taking that thing apart and getting in there and seeing exactly how bad it is. Hopefully it's not too bad. It just need a top end and we'll be good to go. But yeah, that kind of stuff happens. Also, who knows how many hours are on this thing? It probably needed a top end anyway. So yeah, get that thing apart and take a look. We're making Zach change a tire. Yes.
Do anything.
Oh, I'm making him do it. He likes to act like he's doing this willfully, but it's not true. Forcing it to happen. No, but let's take a look inside the motor that Mr. Sheets took apart that had the head gasket leak real fast. So actually it doesn't look terrible, although the only piston getting washed up here, that would be most likely from the coolant going into the situation. And you can see this is the top of the cylinder. This is where the head would have sealed, but not sealed. Looks like right in here is where it was leaking. So there's that. Cylinder actually really doesn't look bad, which is good. Head is looking pretty good. There's a little bit of wear right here, but these are bearings. There's bearings right here, so that's not too big a deal. But what you're really looking for is right in here. If you see any scoring in these journals, you're in trouble. It's a new head or have it fixed. There's actually a company that can fix it. It's Engine Dynamics. I think also Millennium fixes these heads too, so they do a great job. It's not cheap, but it's usually cheaper than a new head. Looks like someone did a top end on this thing already. Those are not stock keepers. And there we go. You can see the leaky point right there on the front, and that lines up with where the piston was washed. It was up there on the front on the exhaust. So there we go. Problem generally, well, it's not solved yet. We haven't fixed it yet, but we're going to fix it. Looks like the cams are in decent shape, not all scratched up. There is the cam cap. Looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. I think we're going to be all right. We'll check clearances on those and make sure they're good, but I think we're going to be all right. The bike was actually running just fine. It just blew coolant everywhere. So that's cool. I'm excited for him. Get that thing running for him relatively fast, not have to get a bunch of machining done or plating or any of that stuff. By the way, if you guys want to see Zach change more tires, let me know, comment below. We'll, especially on old gold wings. That is an old gold wing wheel. We don't do a lot of street bike stuff anymore. In fact, I got rid of our street bike tire changer because I'm tired of doing it, but that is owned by a very good friend and an old man that has been a friend of my wife's family and me forever. So we'll always work on his stuff no matter what it is. Next on the lift is this 15, I think, Husqvarna 350. So the same as a KTM 350 EXC or XC-W. They've obviously taken very good care of it. Super dirty. It's snowing outside, so that's why it's not washed. Also, I'm not taking anything apart in the motor yet, so we are not gonna clean it up out there where it's nasty, but it is cutting out. So it runs fine, starts and runs fine. Ride it, seems like it's okay, and then it'll stumble, like a hard stumble, and then go right back to running again. I'm kind of feeling like it's an electronic issue. There's a couple things I'm guessing on. You guys make sure you comment below what you think it might be. Maybe you have one of these, maybe you've experienced this already. Comment below. I'm gonna dive in and do some testing though. I'm gonna start with the stator. These bikes are kind of an interesting ignition system. It's like the new one on my new bike. I call it a battery points ignition. It's not points, obviously, but it requires a good battery to run. And then the stator is just for crank position sensing, or, you know, telling it, you know, when, pulse coil, when to fire, and then also for charging the battery. There's no ignition coil in the stator. So it seems like the battery seems to be good. It's firing the thing right up and all that. So I don't think that's the problem. Also, batteries don't generally have like a weird stumble like that. But there are a couple things that could be causing it, maybe with the crank position sensor. Then also there's something else that I'm going to check here. Like I said, guess below. Let's take the seat and tank off and get down into there. Guys, I may have already found it. So I took the tank or the seat off, fired it up, fired it right up, no problem. And as I was grabbing down here and wiggling things, I noticed that, and you can hear it. There it goes. You hear it stumble just a second. I'm gonna tighten that thing up and see if I can't wiggle anything else. Such a winner! Let me show you guys something else here. So, came over here to grab the positive to see if it was bad, you know, loose. You can see the terminal to the battery almost looks like it's moving. This is a Shlog battery, really, really high end, very, very good battery, but they don't know if I like that terminal design all that much, because when I tightened this one down, it kind of wanted to twist the whole thing too. So I don't know. Like I said, it's not a, I don't know, it seems to be working now. I'm gonna see if I can maybe get a wrench down on the terminal so I can then tighten this down without trying to twist the whole thing loose, because I'm concerned about that. But I think it's gonna be okay. I don't know, we'll talk to him and see if he wants to get a new battery. I like anti-gravity batteries better, but right now we can't get them because I got one ordered for my new bike. But they don't exist, so that's a bummer. But anyway, yeah, I think we solved the problem. That's exciting. So only really thing I can do is to, you know, probably wait till it stops snowing and go riding around, see if I can't make it fail. But pretty obvious hiccup when I was wiggling that wire, tightened it down, wiggled it, nothing happened. So I think we're good. There you go. That's a quick one, guys. That rarely happens. All right, took the 350 out and rode it around in the freezing cold. There's no snow left, which is good, but it was chilly. But I got it out and rode it around. I think we solved the cutting out problem. That's awesome. But the other problem cropped up, which actually it was on the work order. I just hadn't looked at it. But when I went to hit the front brake, this happened. So that's no good. There's no front brake, but we already have a brake line for it, so let's replace that sucker. Oh man, I wish I could wash this thing, but anyway, whatever. So yeah, let's get that thing replaced. Super simple. I've done this, I think, a few times on here, but we'll go ahead and show you guys again how we do a new brake line and bleed it. And let me just show you. I think there's, so I'm not sure, probably this happened, probably crashed and hit like that and broke that, but also this angle is no good here. So do some rerouting and clean that thing up and make it so that hopefully won't happen again. All right, guys, let's, I just want to show you what Zach's getting ready to work on there. Like, well, it's kind of hard to see. Oh boy, there we go. So they were riding the bike and the customer complaint was the wheel felt wobbly. So if you'll notice, there at least half of the spokes are missing or undone or that. And the tire looks like it's in really good shape. Obviously been very well taken care of. Loved on quite a bit. 70-degree Husqvarna Chris Nelson. I'm sure you're gonna love seeing that. You'll probably be sad about that. Push that on over there, Zach. Let's just see how that goes. Oh yeah, look at there we go. It's fun to make Zach do things like this. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's just, oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's what you like. That's why you have to have the full wrap guards on there, is to keep the spokes from tearing the forks up. So Mr. Sheets is going to be building them a new wheel. There is no salvaging that rim. It is so bent. I mean, actually, if anybody I know could salvage it, it would be Zach. But we got a brand new hoop because we're not doing that. And new spokes. So Mr. Sheets is going to be taking care of that. But we just thought you'd like to see that. Let's see if it'll actually even spin. Nope. Yeah, there we go. That's what you want. All right, let's get this brake line off and get this thing bled. Oh man, sometimes. All right, we got that cracked. We're gonna force some fluid up, which actually is gonna force a bunch of air, as you can see, for a long time. Eventually, it will be brake fluid. There we go. Now, Tom Brady. And now I want to know what you commented though. All right, guys, now the brake is working. We're gonna go ahead and pump some more fluid through it just to make sure there's no air left in there, but the brake feels nice and tight now. So I think that's gonna be it on this one. This is actually owned by the guy who Zach's building the wheel for too, so that's pretty awesome. We'll check in when he gets that thing built. Zach is a master at truing wheels. He came from the bicycle industry where it is super, super important to have straight wheels. Here in the dirt bike world, not nearly as big a deal, but Zach does a brilliant job on getting wheels nice and straight. So anyway, on to the next job. All right, guys, next on the lift is this massive iron right here, a KTM 50, and it needs to be spark arrested so it can be legal. And these 50s, this is a Mini, this is an SX Mini, and we cannot find a slide-on silencer for it. We tried, we ended up being for an SX 50, which turns out is a little bit different than the Mini. So we have got ourselves a Pro Moto billet tip, and we're gonna do that. That is what we're doing right now. All right, guys, I'm looking into the silencer, and it looks like it needs to be packed. It's got almost nothing, so it's interesting. It doesn't just come apart on this end. I'm guessing I can maybe slide it apart, but I'm gonna try to pack this thing without doing that. what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut some strips and we're gonna poke them down in there. Right now, there's almost no packing left in this thing, which I'm sure makes it sound real nice. All right, now we're gonna install this. I think what I'm gonna do is get a little bit of clear RTV, put it on here so that this doesn't leak. All right, guys, get that sucker on there. We got her sealed up. I'm gonna drop screen in, put a little cap on. And this, just like all screen style spark arresters, is going to have to be cleaned relatively frequently. All right, there we go. Now we're going to clean up all this excess sealant, make this thing look nice, and get it back on the bike. Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another weekly Shlog. I really appreciate it. Sorry I didn't film the normal outro. Just crazy busy these days. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Punk Rock Club, you guys are my favorite. You know you are. I love you very, very much. I love you more than everyone else. If you want to know how to be part of the Punk Rock Club, you just got to stick around to the end of all these videos. Maybe give a rock and roll sign comment. That would be super awesome. Yeah, I hope you guys like that stuff. I hope you stick around. If you're new to the channel and you're just checking us out because you got here because of the whole 300XC thing, maybe consider subscribing. It really does make a big difference for us. And I hope you enjoyed this other kind of content. We do lots and lots of how-to videos and all that good stuff. Obviously, normal ride videos, race videos, all that good stuff. Anyway, I love you guys. I desperately hope that you get out and spread the gospel of two wheels. And I really, really, really hope that what we're doing here at Highland Cycles is inspiring you guys to work on, but more importantly, get out and ride your dirt bikes!